Hello Year 9, Mr Thompson here obviously, and today's assembly is all about your options and your future. So hopefully you'll find this assembly interesting and useful, and we're going to be going through three things in this assembly, so it is really important that you pay attention, but do ask any questions of your tutor or your head of house or of me afterwards as well. So as I said, three things that we're going to be looking at today. Firstly, we'll look at what your timetable, what your curriculum will look like next year. So that's looking at which subjects you'll be doing. And then secondly, we'll look at the options and what options you can take and how many you can take and what are the kind of combinations that you can take. And then thirdly, we're just going to look at what the process of options looks like this year. So it's a bit different from previous years. We've made some changes. Some things are going to be held online because of the continuing pandemic, and some things will be held face to face because we're able to do a little bit more of that. So there is a bit of a difference to previous years, and we'll just talk that through. But as I said at the beginning, any questions at all, please do ask your tutors, or do ask your heads of house, or your teachers, or just come and find me. We're here to support you, and this process is about a 6-week long process, all about making sure that you choose the right subjects for you that set you up for your time here at Castle, but also when you leave into college, university, jobs, apprenticeships, or whatever. So your timetable will look like this. On the left hand side here we've got the year 10 timetable, and then you've got the right hand side showing your year 11 timetable. If I just highlight year 10, I love doing this, there we go. So we'll look at year 10 first. You'll see that next year you'll have 4 hours for English and maths per week, and then 5 hours for science. We'll talk about why that is, why science gets a little bit more. And you'll continue to have 2 hours of PE, an hour of RE, and 3 hours of 3 option subjects. So those of you great at maths, 3 times 3 is 9. You'll have 9 hours of option subjects on your timetable. Obviously, some of you are doing a first GCSE in either food, history, or philosophy and religion, and that is after school on a Tuesday night at the moment. You will continue to do that for those of you who are doing it. Obviously, if you're not doing it, you don't have to do it, you don't have to pick it up. But for those students who are, you'll continue to do that into next year, probably on a Tuesday. We'll let you know closer to the time, but you'll continue to do around about 2 hours of that. And then going into year 11, your timetable changes again a little bit more. You'll see that you drop an hour of RE and you pick that up in English. So 5 hours of English, 4 hours of maths, 5 hours of science, 2 hours of PE, and then you'll do your 3 hours of your option subjects. So with the option subjects, giving 3 hours over 2 years is actually quite generous. A lot of other schools don't do that, and that's because a few years ago they changed the GCSEs and they brought in a lot more knowledge, and so what we want to do is give as much time as possible to those subjects so students can learn as much, remember more, and obviously ultimately be successful in the exams. So your curriculum is split into two. It's split into core and options. From next year, and this is the core curriculum. This is the curriculum that every single student in year 10 and then going on into year 11 will study. Every student will do English, and that's 2 GCSEs, that's literature and that's language. Every student does maths, every student does science. With science, most students do combined science, which is 2 GCSEs, so it's the 3 different sciences, physics, chemistry and biology, kind of fused, and then you get 2 GCSEs for it. Some students, and most of you will know who you are because you'll be in the top sets on each side already. Some students will do the separate science kind of route, and that is 3 separate GCSEs, one for physics, one for chemistry and one for biology. If you are a student who's not yet in that top set and is desperate to do separate sciences, you need to make sure that you speak to your science teacher, and they'll talk about whether you're the right kind of candidate to do that. Equally, if you're in the top set and you're thinking, actually, I don't want to do separate sciences, then again, you need to speak to your science teacher, but they will be speaking to you and they would have spoken to you already about this. Every student also does RE. We do that as a short course. We think that's really valuable in the 21st century, especially when students leave school and to be successful and understanding in the big wide world. And that is a short course that is taken at the end of year 10, not into year 11. We take that at the end of year 10. It gives students a really good kind of understanding and a kind of a dry run of what the GCSEs are like. All students do core PE. And then you'll continue to do PSHE and careers as you have done over the last 3 years. And then on top of that, you do your options curriculum, and that's 3 subjects. And some of you are also doing your first GCSEs as well, as I spoke about that before. That means that the majority of you will leave with 8 GCSEs, which is what is needed to get into college. Some of you, because you're doing a first GCSE, will have 9. Some of you will be doing a first GCSE and a separate science and will leave with 10. But what we want for our students here is to leave with 8 really good GCSEs. And then you have your option subjects. So you have 3 choices. One of those choices has to be from what we call option A. And I'll talk about option A in a minute. And then you have 2 open choices where you can just choose anything. And that could be from option A, or it could be something totally different. Our advice is that you, and this sounds really simple, but it is really important that you follow this advice, okay? Choose the subjects that you're going to enjoy. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but don't get too bogged down into, oh, I need to take this because of this, and I want to do this, so I should take this. The easiest thing to do is choose the subjects which you're going to enjoy, because you're going to then be best at them. Okay, it's easy, just to think of it like that. You will have to think about, a future possible career. You can think about university or apprenticeships and what different GCSEs will help you. But actually, leaving with 8 really good GCSEs is better than leaving with 1 amazing GCSE and a whole host of others. So think more about doing well and enjoying them rather than the particular ones that I desperately need to do to be able to access this course. The other thing I would say about that is there are very few courses at college which actually require you to do that as a GCSE. So even history, for example, at Richard Hewish, obviously doing history GCSE is going to massively help you to do A-level history at Richard Hewish. But you don't have to do history GCSE. It's just helpful. So think about opening up doors, but don't think of this as there are opportunities closing to you. The other thing I would say is think about GCSE or BTECs and choosing those that suit your assessment preferences. So if you're someone that loves coursework, BTEC and Cambridge Nationals have a higher percentage of coursework than many GCSEs do. If you hate coursework, if you can't stand it, if you're not an organised person in that way, then doing a BTEC probably isn't the right thing for you, because you might prefer those kind of final, kind of more stressful exams, okay? They're kind of all or nothing exams. You might prefer that kind of learning. So do really think about not just the content, but think about how they're assessed. And the final thing I would say is an absolute no-no. Don't just choose things because your mates are doing it. That's absolutely ridiculous. Not only is that a really flawed kind of way of looking at options, but we have so many different classes going. We might have like geography with 10 different classes, for example. The likelihood of you being with your friends or even being with your favourite teacher is quite slim. So choose the things that you enjoy the most, that you think are going to be best at, that you think are going to open up doors for your future opportunities, and which suit your assessment preferences. So option A, you need to do at least one of these subjects that you've got in front of you. So that's history, geography, French, German, Spanish, and Mandarin. And the reason why we suggest that every single student who leaves Castle School has one of these, or at least one of these, is because we feel that these subjects are really important at facilitating a kind of a wider cultural knowledge about our country and our world. And we believe that these subjects give you that extra bit of understanding about how the world works, which we think is really useful when you leave school. Equally, these subjects may, and that's obviously might is in capitals there. They might support university applications, especially if you're going for a more academic university application. So these are looked at quite, they're looked at quite well. So history, geography, French, German, Spanish, Mandarin, every student must do at least one of these. You can do more if you would like. So if you want to do history, geography and French, that's absolutely fine. If you only wanted to do geography, that's also absolutely fine. And then after you choose your option A, you can choose 2 more subjects. And they come from these faculties. Now, we're really lucky here at the Castle School because we have such a wide variety of options to choose from, probably more than many other schools in the local area. So in humanities, for example, we've got child development, geography, history, philosophy and religion. In the arts, we've got all of those that you see there. Absolutely huge, rich offer, right through to technology, where we offer computing and IT, where we offer DT and engineering. Now, there are some subjects here which are very similar, but obviously have differences which we should explore. So the first one I want to talk about is music. So you can see there we offer a music GCSE and a music kind of more vocational BTEC offer. And the reason we do that is because of, again, the way that they are assessed and also the skills and knowledge that you need to access those. Neither of them are easier, but they are set up in different ways for different students to access them. Okay, so when you're thinking about, I like music, which one should I do? You really need to speak to Mr. Adams or Miss Leach, look through the curriculum guide and just really work out which is going to be more suited to me. Equally, BTEC Sport, GCSE PE, both delivered by our fantastic PE department, both very successful, but you need to work out which one suits you more. Okay, so it is again about speaking to our colleagues, speaking to teachers, just saying, what do you think, sir? What do you think, miss? Am I going to be better at GCSE PE or better at BTEC Sport? And then moving on to technology, you'll see that we offer both computing and IT. Now there is a difference there. Computing is more about, it's probably more technical. It's more about the programming and the coding, whereas IT is more about the use of the programs. So there is a difference there. The other thing I should say is computing. We do say that students should really be in set 1 or set 2 if they want to do GCSE computing, because that's of maths, set 1 or set 2 of maths, because the demand is so high in terms of the mathematics that you need to know there. And then DT and engineering, again, similar courses, but they're different. Engineering is actually Cambridge Nationals, DT is GCSE, so you need to speak to Ms. Fishlock, Mr. Batchelor, and just explore which one would you be best at and how are they different. But it is really up to you to look at those. And you'll see the ones that I've got in brackets there, we've just made it really clear that most of them are GCSEs, but we do have some differences. Like BTECs, Cambridge Nationals. And the final thing I will say is we are relaunching Dance GCSE. You can see that under the arts there. So that's a really good thing, and we hope lots of you students will take up the Dance GCSE. Okay, you may have heard about the Ebacc. You might have heard about it in the media. You might have heard about it from school, from teachers maybe, or from things that you might have seen or heard about with the government. Now, the Ebacc is the English Baccalaureate. It is a selection of subjects which are promoted by the government. It is not a qualification in its own right, so it's not like a GCSE, or it's not like the International Baccalaureate you might have heard about that some college students take. What it is a wraparound award for a group of subjects. So the government want the majority of students to study English, math, science, humanities, and one modern foreign language, and then have an open choice. And so this is what they call the Ebacc. Now, at Castle School, we would agree with the government to a certain extent that these subjects are really important. As I've said before, we believe that the humanities and MFL give you a kind of a cultural understanding, quite uniquely actually, that other subjects may not, about how the world just works. And we think those subjects are really important for understanding and being successful in the world after you leave school. However, at the Castle School, we will never force you to do the Ebacc. Okay, we will never say you have to do history and geography and French. We will never force you to do those things, and that's because we believe that choice and personalisation is really important for two reasons actually. Firstly, we believe that students will be more engaged in their subjects if they've got a choice. So rather than being forced to do 3 subjects that they kind of like, we think that you guys will be more engaged if you get to choose. And secondly, at the Castle School, we've got a really long history of promoting the arts and promoting technology and those more creative subjects. And so we don't necessarily believe that history, for example, and you know I'm a history teacher and I can't believe I'm saying this, but we don't believe that history is more important than fine art. Absolutely no way. We don't think that it's more academic than something like fine art. No way do we believe that. So it is about choice, and it is about making sure that we are promoting and celebrating the richness and the diversity that we have in our curriculum offer. So in our hearts, you know, art or technology or PE or any of the non-Ebacc subjects, we believe they are as important as history. However, one thing I would say on that is we would also really like all students to just stop and think about MFL. In recent years, the numbers that have taken modern foreign languages have been slowly rising at the Castle School, which we're really happy about. But we want them to rise even further, and that's because we think that languages are really important in the 21st century. They enable you to go travelling, and they enable you to work abroad, maybe to study abroad as well. So when taking your options, when thinking about what you want to do, just stop and reflect and just think, how would a language add to this? How would a language make this kind of selection of subjects better? And my question to you would be, why would you not take a language in the 21st century? So yeah, lots of things to think about, and hopefully that kind of clarifies what the Ebacc is. So what happens next? You've got the key dates there. The key dates are also on the curriculum guide, and your tutors have them as well. But the curriculum guide is now being sent home to all parents. You need to make sure that you have read this. The Year 9 curriculum guide covers all of the options in great detail, so you can sit with your parents and you can really kind of pick apart which one you want to take. And then in a couple of weeks, on the 17th of January, we have GCSE Options Evening. That's where all the option subjects are there selling their subjects, so you can go around and really test them on what they deliver and why they deliver it and whether that will be good for you. So absolutely everyone does need to come between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. It is going to be a live event. It is going to be held in school. We believe that having that face-to-face interaction with our staff, parents, with our families, with our students is actually really beneficial. And last year, our current year 10, when they were doing it, they really missed out not being able to have that options evening, we feel. So we will be putting measures in place to keep people safe, social distancing, wearing masks, etc. But we do think it is really important to have that face-to-face. We will then have individual options interviews with tutors and with heads of house on Tuesday the 25th. That is only if you've still got concerns or questions. Okay, so if by that point, if you're happy, if you know what you're doing, you do not need to come to that evening. If you do have questions, you can come to that evening, speak to your form tutor, and they can give you some further advice. And then finally, options are completed. They are completed online by Friday the 4th of Feb. Now that is a deadline. We need everything back by Friday the 4th of Feb. That's why I'm circling it a million times with this little red highlighter thing, because I want that to be burnt into your irises, and so you retain it in your brains. Friday the 4th of Feb, get it back. That will be done via Microsoft Forms, okay? So it will come out as an email. You'll click the link, you'll go through, add all your options, couple of other questions, and then we'll get that in. And then what we'll do is we'll look through that, make sure it makes sense, make sure that no mistakes have been made, and then if there are any issues, we will contact you directly and we'll have a chat about that. Okay, so that's the first in a long kind of discussion and a long process. We'll have a number of other kind of meetups and meetings and assemblies, and more letters and stuff will come from me home. So hopefully that gives you a flavour of what's happening and what's coming up. As I said before, any questions you must just ask. Speak to your teachers, speak to your tutors, come and find me. I'm always on duty at break and lunch, so do come and find me and we can have a chat about it. Okay, thanks very much and see you later.